Don't confuse activity with productivity. Many people are just being busy. This is one quote that resonates with me a lot every single time when I think about it. You know, at the end of the day, we don't want to be essentially busy doing nothing. We want to, do things that bring us a step closer to, our career goals, our financial goals, our goals in terms of the amount of impact we want to make in the different spheres of our lives. And to do that and be able to manage all these things and manage them properly, we need to be able to master our productivity and how we think about the things we do and the kind of results we expect from the things that we do. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I have had a lot of productivity issues in the past, but I have learned to stay on top of my game and do a few things. I have a full-time job, I have a YouTube channel, I am a DJ, and I am trying to maintain my social media in a very good way. So I think that to be able to do all these things and do all these things effectively, there's an amount of time, amount of planning, amount of deliberately trying to be productive and seeing results in the right way that goes into all of my things and everything that I do and all my efforts. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing these few things that I know. Obviously, I am no expert, right? So I'm going to be sharing with you things that I know, things that I've learned as I have been going. If you know other things that I did not mention, please make sure that you leave it in the comments so that I can also learn from you, and let's just learn together and help each other grow. At the end of the day, we want to be doing things that make our lives better, add value to our lives or the lives of the people around us long term. We want to be doing things that make impact. It's not really about hard work at the end of the day, but it's about the results from the work that you do, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. But before I get into any of that, I want to introduce myself. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Adora and I'm a software engineer. In this video, I'm going to be talking about productivity. Like I mentioned, you are currently watching AdoraHack, which is a YouTube channel where we talk about tech, career growth, and sometimes I do vlogs to give you some little here and there sneak peek in my own life. So yeah, moving on. If you're new to this channel, you're welcome. Like I said, please make sure that you subscribe. That will mean a lot to me because that will help the channel grow and that will make me motivated to shoot more videos like this for all of you, and it's something that I would personally really appreciate. Thank you so much as you hit that subscribe button. I'm waiting. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Also, it's very easy to get carried away while watching the video and you forget to like, so please make sure that you smash that like button right now as early as possible so that we can keep it moving. Also, please share this video to your friends, share this video to many people that you know, so that many people can watch this video as well. Leave a comment as well if you find anything interesting or if there are any productivity tips that I will not be mentioning in this video. The first thing I would want to say is that you should learn to delegate some tasks. At the end of the day, you can't do everything. This is like a legit recipe for burnout, because you'll be doing this one, then in the middle of doing that one, you have to remember that you have to go and do another one here. You have to go and do another one. Excuse me. Do you want to die early? Because you're gonna get old fast. You're gonna be stressed. You're gonna be burned out, and it's very unnecessary. So when you look at that scale of important versus urgent and all of that stuff, there's there are tasks that are not important but are urgent. Most times these are tasks that you delegate. There are things that are urgent, but they don't necessarily require your skill set. They don't necessarily require your own personal input when you think about it. One good example would be if you have the resources and you're a YouTuber like me, you could decide to have like a whole production team that just takes care of all of this, for you, as opposed to you being the one to shoot the video, edit the video, upload the video, go and do find the perfect title, create the thumbnail, all of those things. I mean, if your YouTube is giving you returns, and it's possible for you to, it's possible for you to hire a production team from the returns and obviously still be making money. It's wise to steal a few hours, for yourself, so that you can spend that time that you have spent doing something that somebody else can do. By the way, you can spend that time doing other important things in your life. You can focus, all of that energy on, you can transfer that time to other important stuff in your life. So I would say it's very, very, very important to delegate things. I would advise you do that. I'm thinking about like a basic scenario, delegating as well. This is not a sponsored video, just FYI, by the way. But for example, if you are the type of person that lives alone, so you don't have access to house helps and drivers and all these people that just make your lives easy, except you're someone that really likes to cook, or except cooking is, maybe you have a food business, or you're a chef, or I don't know, something. But if cooking for you is just like meh, as opposed like that time that you will have left your house, entered car, especially if you're someone that now doesn't cook but you always go to buy food, to drive to Chicken Republic or to drive to Mega Chicken or all of these things, you could have legit just paid someone that comes to your house, maybe let's say every 2 weeks or something, and makes various dishes for you and goes, and when you're ready you just go and microwave it, as opposed to spending time almost every single day or every other day actually cooking. Eating is something that's a no-brainer, you must do. And based on that, I mean, delegate the creating of the food to somebody else, get your time back, and you to do something else. The next thing I would want to say is, have a to-do list and break things down in the order of importance. I cannot stress this enough. And how do you break it, how do you break down your different tasks? It's something that I learned. I don't even remember where I learned it from. I watched a video, but I don't remember who owns the channel, but it was something I stumbled upon. I watched the video, I decided to try it, and I'm like, whoa, this thing actually works. So it's called the 1-3-5 rule, yeah? So when you're breaking down tasks, you break it down to one very important, crucial task that you must do, and then 3 of medium importance, not so crucial, and then 5 things that are not as important but will be great to do. And what this even actually lets you do is it lets you you learn to be smarter with your priorities, because now you have a block of 9 things, because the 1-3-5 rule means you have only 9 things in your to-do. 1 very important one, 3 ones of medium importance, and then 5 not so really important things. So there are only, when you count 1 + 3 + 5 is 9. So you only have 9 things in your to-do list. And the truth is, all these 5 things most times are really small things that you can quickly finish, but then at the end of the day, it's mostly hard to actually do all the 9 things in a day. But what this happens is that if you try to do things based on their importance and stuff like that, you'd find out that you are doing at least between 3 to 4 of these things every day. And I mean, change is something that is constant, right? Once you've done those the ones that you were able to do the day before and you take them off your list, then you can reprioritize your list, and based on whatever different scenarios and how you are looking at setting your priorities, you can now create another 1-3-5 list for your next day, essentially. And that helps, because you do a lot of things and then you might not be able to get to everything, but at some point you'll be able to get to every single thing, because something that was in the 5 before, at some point it becomes a 3. So when you are doing your next, might not be your next, maybe it could be your next 3, maybe 3 days after or something. But once you are drafting out another to-do list, at some point, you're based on importance, things might change and you might need to rearrange. And wow, I just rhymed. Wow, things might change. I might need to rearrange. Oh my god. So yeah, based on that, things might change and you might need to rearrange. And you would be able to comfortably do that, and you see that over time you're getting the most important things done first, and you are seeing remarkable results in your goals and your life. And if you want to ask about like, tasks that are impromptu that just, get dropped on your table, but these are going back to that chart, important versus urgent, and these are things that you do now. So you can always substitute. So if something is impromptu, most times it will end up being in your bracket of 3. Do you get? It might be your bracket of 3 or your bracket of 1. Last, you might have 2 ones that day. You might have 2 ones that day thinking about it, or it might be in your bracket of 3. But my point is, what you would do is substitute that impromptu task with a task in your to-do list that is in the bracket of 3, right? So if you had, maybe your 1 was, I'm going to create this design doc today, and then your 3 is, I'm going to open a PR that does ABC. I'm going to review all the PRs that I was, added on, and the last thing is, I'm going to create a presentation for my talk that is next week, right? You can now decide that, okay, the presentation for your talk that is next week, you can move it to a 5, or you could move it to a 3 the next day and bring in the impromptu task. And then during your day, find out how you're going to rearrange your time and make sure that everything works. And then if you move it to a 5 and you can get to it that same day, fine. If you don't move it to a 5, you move it to a 3 the next day and you can get through it the next day, fine as well. I hope that makes sense. So I've talked about, the important, not important block or graph or chart, which I think is important. Wow. So things that are important and urgent are things that you do now. Things that are important and not urgent are things that you plan for, right? So it's not urgent because maybe the deadline has not reached. So basically, it's important, but if you don't do it now, castle will not boss, something will not happen to you. So find a way to plan for that, put that plan for that thing in your future. Things that are urgent and not important are things that you delegate. Like I said, like the food thing, for example, or if you're a YouTuber making videos, delegate to somebody else, right? These are things that you delegate. Things that are not important and not urgent, please, why do you have them in your life? They are just taking up unnecessary space. You don't need all that energy, bruh. Like, you actually do not need all that energy. So things that are not important, things that are not urgent, you can do away with it, in my own honest opinion. And one thing that I would also want to say is that you should break larger tasks into smaller subtasks. I've seen this play out in multiple scenarios. By the way, if you watch this video to this point, please make sure that you smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you very much. So now let's go back. Yes, as I was saying, yes, break larger tasks into smaller subtasks, because once you see something that's very large, normally it's like, I can't stress myself. I can't keep myself and die. It's like, this life, I can't keep myself.
I can't keep myself, yeah. I can't keep myself. Allow me to.
And you find out that you're pushing that thing, and then at some point, it becomes very important, very urgent, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do at this point. So if you see that you actually have a very large task, break it down into smaller subtasks. And then because you are making progress on these small subtasks, it's like, thank God, it gives you even ginger to, move on. For example, something like write an article for, I don't know, what is, thank you. Write an article for Smashing Magazine, for example. You're like, see, I don't have time. It's too far. But then, when you think about it like this, okay, I'm going to spend my time today researching on the article I want to write. That's one task, one subtask. I'm going to plan out the article I'm going to write. That's another subtask. And then depending on how you plan it out, maybe it's like something that involves writing code and writing the article and referencing like the GitHub and like the different gists, or however it is you're writing the thing. You can be like, oh, I'm going to write the code for this article, and then I'm going to write the article, and I'm going to add a few of my friends to review before I go ahead and publish it or whatever. Like, as opposed to that one big write an article that looks like it's a lot, you've now broken this thing down into like 5 smaller things, and today, if you're able to do your research, you're like, okay, I'm all set there. Tomorrow, I can plan the article. Next tomorrow, I can write code and, start writing the article. Next week, I will be done writing the article and I can share with my friends. I can implement their feedback and I can publish the article. You've not broken that thing now. But if it was just like one very big write an article that was looking at you, there's a chance that you won't go to that thing for 3 weeks, because that's how as human beings, I don't know, maybe if I talk to a psychologist, I will kind of understand why, because I honestly don't know why. But I know that as human beings, our minds are just conditioned to procrastinate things that look like they are very hard. Do you get? So find a way to make things that would be hard easy for you, so that you don't have to put yourself in that black hole that you might end up regretting at some point. Another thing I want to say is take breaks. In the middle of the day, stand up, take a walk, listen to music, watch a YouTube video. Binge watch my YouTube playlist. Yes, I'm talking to you. When you are taking breaks, come to my YouTube channel. Watch all the video there. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's very important to take breaks. Clear your head. There's sometimes that I might be working, right? And then I'll just notice that, I can't work again. Like my head is full. Or I might even be trying to write or create content or something. And I'll say that, it's either I have writer's block, or there's even a bug I'm trying to fix, and for whatever reason, I've been able to fix that bug, and I'm like, see, I'm just going to drop this because I don't have time for rubbish, right? I'm going to drop it and I'll go back to it later. And I noticed that when I go back to it later, maybe because I dropped it and I went to take a walk or I went to sleep, I'm more refreshed, my head is clear and I'm in a better position to do things. Let's look at this, for example. You have a car. You keep driving that car every single time. Your car, you know how they say after every 1K that you go and service your car. Like when your odometer, like if you check your odometer as it's reading, after every 1K, go and service your car. And you've been driving, is it 1K or 5K? I don't even remember at this point. Because God knows I've not really been going out. But like, if you've been driving that car, 10K has passed, 15K. At some point, the guy is going to be like, yo, please, it's time to service me. Service me, please. Service me. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, the car will start giving you hints that you should service it. And if you don't, the car will probably break down. Right? And that thing, to be honest, actually also goes for human beings. Yeah, so if you are working on something and it's clear that you're not making progress, maybe what you need is a break. Take that break. Maybe you are hungry. Eat. Maybe you just need sunlight. Take a walk, and then you might come back feeling refreshed. I know how many times I've had bugs to fix that I could spend like 3 hours on the bug and not be productive, have wasted time in my life. I sleep, I wake up, I look at this thing and it's right in my face. Like it's right in my face. So like when you know that taking breaks are important, man, start taking those breaks. Another example is when you use your phone, for example. You use the phone. At some point, if you don't charge the phone, the battery will die, right? And then when you charge the battery, it's going to be available for use again. So in that light, charging batteries are like, synonymous to taking breaks as humans, just sometimes changing environments, taking walks, sleeping, all of these things. They help your mind in so many ways that you cannot even imagine, I promise you. Another thing I want to say that not many people do is you should sleep. I know I talk about taking breaks, but you should sleep. Like you should get 8 hours of sleep every day. And you should also try to sleep early. I'm not saying that you should sleep by 3 a.m. and waking up by 11 a.m. Because my most productive days, I've realized that my most productive days are days that I wake up early. And please, if the reverse is the case for you for whatever reason, please leave a comment. Let me know. Let's talk. Because I'm honestly very serious about this. A lot of people sleep late. Days when, because sometimes I sleep late as well, but my sleeping late is as a result of me maybe working in a different time zone. So I'm working in US time zone. And as a result, I just go on Twitter for like a few minutes and I see a lot of my friends that I know are in this country, this hard country that all of us are in. I see a lot of people that are in this country and they are awake. And I'm like, I don't understand. Did I miss something? You should sleep for 8 hours, and you should sleep early, because when you sleep early you wake up early, and when you wake up early you are able to do a lot of things with your morning, because that's even when your brain is sharpest. I know how I talked about the whole servicing a car thing, and then if you don't service the car breaks down, but when you service it, at the time when you just service the car, that's when the car is at its best. Basically, that's the same when you wake up in the morning, that's when you're your sharpest. So do the most important things in the morning and just get it over and done with, and continue doing your life, and just keep it pushing, Maji. Another thing that I want to say is work on your self-development. There's this very important quote, and I might not quote it verbatim, right? That says, if you tell me to cut a tree, I think it's an Einstein quote. If you give me an axe to cut a tree, or if you give me 6 hours to cut a tree, I'll spend the first 2 hours sharpening my axe. And this is very important, because you spend the first 2 hours sharpening your axe, you cut that tree in 30 minutes, and you move and just keep it pushing. But if you don't sharpen your axe, you spend like 5 out of those 6 hours trying to get that tree cut. And in that regard, it's the same thing. Invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge. You find out that when you do those sort of things, sometimes it's not just about doing things and keeping it pushing. If you do something, like there's also this quote I see on Twitter: don't stop when you get it right, stop when you can't get it wrong. Right? So keep doing something over and over and over and over and over again until you can see that, man, I'm the boss at this thing. Well, you can never really be a boss because you'd always keep learning. But the point is, it's always better to, invest in yourself, learn, and that would help you in terms of how you basically grow. From there, it would help you do some things that would have taken you a very long time, because you're going to go and do research, or you're going to go and learn, or you're not even sure how to do it. Things that would have necessarily taken you a very long time, you can do that in a shorter amount of time, because you've invested in yourself, you've spent time learning about the thing, so you go and do the thing. Same thing even goes for not only investing in yourself personally, but investing in automating some things. For example, you are maybe writing code that does something, and you see that this particular code that you are writing is something that you always write, frequently, or this particular thing that you're doing is something that you always do a lot in multiple places. Depending, or it's not for every scenario. Before you go and start one if statement now, because you're using if everywhere, you gotta create package. I'm not saying you should go and do that, but if you find out that you're using the same thing multiple times and it's large enough, you can just decide to create some kind of package, some kind of library, and have that in npm or NuGet or whatever, and in a package manager, Composer, if that's your thing, have that in a package manager and reference that package when you need to. It will save you lines of code, it will save you some time that you'd have used to write the thing, and all of that. So just always find a way to invest in yourself, and also find a way to automate tasks that you have seen that you do a lot. Something that you do a lot, something that you do all the time. Automate it so that you don't have to do it as much. I talked about energy management because I talked about, sleeping early and, waking up early. So you do things when you are your brightest in the morning and you keep it pushing. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you want to open your eye like this, no matter how you want to open your eye like this, if you, for whatever reason, if you are tired, you can't do anything anymore. So that whole day is legit wasted if you think about it. So spend time doing things that could get you to, that could help, save energy. Energy management is also something that, as important as time management is in the step to productivity, energy management is also something that I think is very, very, very important. Another very important thing is attention management. Sometimes it's nice to go on social media, it's nice to take breaks, but when you see that you are constantly going on social media in the middle of an important thing, you are getting distracted, essentially. and you should find a way to, it requires a lot of discipline, but you should find a way to control those distractions. If it means putting your phone away for a few minutes, restricting how many times you go to social media in a day, screen time, like whatever works for you, it's just important to think about attention management as something that you also need to tackle on, you know, the road to becoming really productive. There's also something called the 90-90 rule, which is very important, which a few years ago when I was doing my research about productivity, I stumbled upon as well. And I'm just going to pull it up real quick so that we can see this. So it says the concept of the 1991 rule. Sorry, the 1991 rule, not the 1990 rule. So the concept of the 1991 rule is that for the next 90 days, spend the first 90 minutes of your day doing the most important thing that could have much impact on your life or your business or your job. And like I said, I find this very useful as well because, like I said, in the morning when your head is clear is when you can get to doing a lot. So if, you know, for the first 90 days, you can spend the first 90 minutes doing one thing that can impact, you know, your life. It might be that, oh, you are preparing, you are creating an ebook, you are preparing an online course, you are doing all of these things, right? So when you wake up in the morning, once you've done like the necessary morning need things that you have to go do, spend the first 90 minutes. And I mean, if this course is very important to you, because I mean, priorities are different, right? You spend the first 90 minutes doing this course for the next 90 days. You might end before 90 days, great. But you see that that's when your head is clear, you're able to do a lot and keep it pushing. You know, or if it's in terms of work, you spend the first 90 minutes doing the most important work-related thing for that day for you. I'm not saying that after the first 90 minutes, you can now drop it and do whatever you want, but make sure you dedicate those first minutes to that thing because that's when your brain is like, you know, light bulb. So I mean, a short quote for this rule would be stop wasting your morning. You can actually also combine, you know, the 135 rule with the 1991 rule. That's a life hack that I'm going to give you. What this means is, since we do a 135 and that one is that one important thing, you could, you know, do it in such a way that, you know, you spend, when you think about the 1991 rule, you spend the first 90 minutes of your day focusing on that one thing. And then after, you can go on to other things and then come back to that one thing. But you make sure that you dedicate the first 90 minutes of your day to the one thing in your, you know, on your to-do list. I hope you're able to make all these things work for you. At the end of the day, different things work for different people. You know, when you think about it, not everything is actually cast in stone. So what I'm saying might work for, you know, a great subscriber on my channel. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. What I've said might work for a great subscriber on my channel, but then it might not work for another great subscriber. So combining the 1991 and the 135 rule is something that I have seen that works perfectly for me. I've not read it anywhere in any blog posts, in any article, in all my, like when I said I was having issues, you know, balancing my life and I stumbled on, you know, productivity tips. I've never stumbled on, you know, combining the two together to get effective results, but I've seen that it works for me and that's why I'm doing it. On that note, I hope that you find what works and you get a step closer to your productivity goals. One thing I would also want to say is if you've heard about any of these rules that I talked about in this video, please leave a comment. Let me know if they worked for you. Please leave a comment. Let me know if they're trash, because they have actually worked for me, right? So that, like I said, different stroke for different folks. So just leave a comment. Let us know. If you know about other good productivity rules as well, please leave that comment too. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. I really appreciate all of you so much. If you like this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me. The button is here. Also, please make sure that you share this video with a lot of people that you think need to, you know, see this productivity video or need to know that they are not alone in this struggle, because we've all at some point in our lives faced issues with being productive and getting results. You know, we've been doing a lot of activity and thinking that we've actually been productive when we haven't. So if you know anyone that this could be of good use to, please make sure you share this video to them. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And on that note, thank you for watching this video again, and I will see you next time. Bye.